everybody, it's Zach, aka Zach's Reviews. We are back again with another video, and guys, today was the episode 6 finale of Hawkeye. This will be my spoiler review, as you guys know, for people that are here before on the channel, and for new people that are here to the channel. I would love it if you guys subscribe to the channel, put on those notifications, like this video. But guys, what an amazing episode. To start off talking about this episode, I really enjoyed this episode. It did not waste any time. It got to all the points that it needed to, to make before they could end this series. They also left the door open for possibilities for, future projects going forward with, Kate and Clint and, going forward in the future of the MCU. This was just amazing. Literally, it was an hour and something. Like, this was the longest episode, I think, out of all the Hawkeye episodes. And it really, put everything on the table. It really, gave us all the answers and gave us everything that we wanted. There was a lot of things that shocked me in this episode. To start off this episode, of course, we get the recap. We get, and then we get to the point of, we are now at the point of now, Kate now knows that Eleanor is the one that sent Yelena to go after Clint. And now she knows that, and now she's kind of like, doesn't know what to think right now, other than to the fact of, Clint tells her to settle down, you're my partner. Kate's telling, Clint he should go home for Christmas so he could be home before Christmas. But he says, no, you're my partner. I'm going to stay here with you. I'm not going to leave until this is, situated. And they end up pretty much getting, pretty much the Christmas party, Kate, I guess the Bishop, Christmas party is about to happen. And they know, this is, the main event. This is the main situation. So, but they know to get ready because, and to start off this episode, we get the moment, actually, where it's, we get the, our introduction to Wilson, to Vincent D'Onofrio's Kingpin. We get that introduction to his character. We actually get to see him in this episode. We actually saw him in this episode. And that was the spark threat level of now the fact of they got the video, footage from, I guess, Yelena hid something in the room. And because we saw the picture, but actually that was a video. And we got to see the video, but we got to see the video of, that Yelena sent, but we got to see it actually take place of Eleanor saying, I'm leaving, I'm done, Kate's getting too close to all this, to everything that's happening, I'm out, and we get a little bit more of information on the fact of she was only put in that situation, Eleanor, in the dealings with Wilson Fisk, because apparently, Derek, Kate's actual father was the one that was doing the dealings, but when he died, she's the one that picked up the mantle and did everything, and she couldn't get out of it. She got, she had to do all that stuff. So that was very interesting to see all that go down, but she actually killed, Armand, and that was crazy to figure out that, because my theory was that she, she wasn't the one that killed Armand. My theory was that, probably, swordsman, Jack killed Armand. But that was really cool to find out that was actually, that, the writers were clever with that because, I didn't expect Kate. I mean, Eleanor was the one that killed, Armand. But, that's what, Fisk says, you already did everything. You killed Armand, this, and that. And she's like, it's gotten too close to home. I'm out. He's, of course, as we all know, Wilson Fisk does not like when people try to leave. He's like, there's no way out of this, I would really reconsider what you're saying right now. And she just leaves, and right away, that's when, Kate knows, oh my God, my mom's in danger. Oh my God, you should stay out of this. Oh, this, and that. And he's like, no, I'm your partner. We're going to figure this out. We're going to do this together. But he's like, if you do this, this is what I was talking to you about. There's no other way out of this. It's either you're in or you're in. That's it. Are you sure you don't want out? And she's like, yes, I'm ready. And she's like, she even tells Clint the moment that she felt like that she could be a hero. And she explains, in the Battle of New York, I saw you, and I saw you didn't have, lasers coming out of your hands. You weren't able to fly. You weren't able to do anything like that. But you just had a stick and some string, and you took a leap of faith, and it showed me that anybody can be a hero. I want to do this. I'm ready. And that was really heartwarming to hear, Clint say, to say to Kate, you're my partner. And to see the look on Kate's face saying, oh my God, you just call me your partner. Oh my God, we see their friendship just grow throughout this series, and we've gotten to the point where they now Clint thinks of her as you're a hero. We're partners. Like, he's warmed up to the fact that we are partners. You are my friends. You do got this stuff to be a hero. This and that, and we see that through this episode. He's like, we're gonna need a lot of trick arrows. And she's like, you're gonna make trick arrows, and we see a cool montage of them making trick arrows, and the Hawkeye theme is playing through the montage. We see Pym arrows, we see Stark arrows, we see them making arrows that have these weird pins and needles that flick off once they shoot it out. The arrows, like these little pins and needles, flick off of the arrowhead, and then it goes into people. And we've seen just some crazy arrows that they were making. I thought that was sick, seeing the different arrows, seeing the hints to the Pym, the Pym tech and the Stark tech, and seeing all that happen. And they're just they're vibing, making the arrows, and it was just cool to see all that go down, and to see how Grills and a lot of the LARPers end up being a part of the team to infiltrate the Bishop Christmas party. So that was really cool to see that all go down. They're dressed up as waiters, and it's they're doing undercover to pretty much find Eleanor, because their main objective is to protect Eleanor from Fisk. So that was really cool to see. Now, we know the threat level is Fisk. At this point, Kate really doesn't know what to think, because sometimes things don't go the way sometimes you have to make the hard choices when you go into being a hero. And we really get to see Kate go through that, because at this point she knows what her mother did to Armand, but she still wants to save her. And that was really cool to see her be like, okay, I have to protect my mom, even though what she did, I don't agree with what she did, but I still gotta protect her. That's the main objective. And to see how there's multiple fronts going on. We see, of course, Yelena still trying to kill Clint. And, she goes into the party dressed up like she's a guest. And at this point, they're still trying to look for, Eleanor. Eleanor comes on the scene. Kate finds Eleanor, pulls her aside, saying, you need to stay out of this. You need to stay on the side. I know you're, and I love how Kate's mom was, Eleanor was like, just stay out of this. Don't, you can't be near all this. And, I'm going to try to explain, this was the doings of your father. He was in debt to Fisk, and I had to do all these things. And she's like, oh, this was just happened to be just, a coincidence, or just, or happened to be just, a misunderstanding, you killing, Armand, and you doing all this, doing all that, and she's like, I did all this to protect you, and she's like, just stay out of this, I'm gonna handle all this. And we see, of course, I love that one scene that we get with Kate and Yelena, when Yelena is trying to go to the elevator and trying to follow Clint upstairs at the top of the building, because at this point, we see what's his face, it's on the tip of my tongue, Maya's friend, or so-called friend, he's one of the tracksuits. I'm forgetting what his name is. Can't believe I'm forgetting what his name is. It's on the tip of my tongue. What his name is. He's one of the tracksuits. And he's shooting inside the building because he finds out Clint is there, and of course Kate's there, and he's trying to take them out, because at this point, Fisk is angry and is sending, the tracksuits to go after, not just after Eleanor, but to go after Clint and to go after Kate, it seems, at this point, and to take them all out, because he blames, of course, Kate for, Eleanor pulling out and, and all this crap. It's just, there's a big problem, but mainly he's going after Eleanor. But he even tells Kate eventually, when they get to a face-to-face, into a face-to-face, fighting sequence. He even says, go somewhere else, it doesn't involve you, this, and that, which was really cool to see that fight scene go down. But just to see that one moment where we see, what do you call, we see Yelena and Kate, and of course, Yelena's trying to go up to go get Clint. And they're both to go in the elevator, and of course, Yelena says, don't come in here. She gets in there, and she's like, don't, and she, swings her back around, and, it's like a friendly fighting that's going on in the elevator. She's like, don't touch that, don't do that. And she's like, oh, of course, really, Kate? You hit all the buttons. It was funny, the way, like, they were, like, because you could tell that Yelena doesn't want to hurt Kate, and Kate really doesn't want to hurt Yelena, but they have, like, they respect the moves that they do, the fighting moves that they do to one another, and they respect how the persistence that each other have. And I really do love seeing that, and seeing them do their little fighting, trying to get to Clint, and, Yelena's trying to get to Clint, but Kate's trying to stop Yelena from getting to Clint, and the cool moment where Yelena jumps out the window, and then, of course, Clint's there trying to, shoot that. He shot an arrow across the street to, I think his name is Kazi, shot over to, Kazi, if I'm correct, if that's his name, Kazi, and just to do a smoke grenade, an arrow that has, it's like a smoke bomb to get him out of there, to stop shooting, stop trying to snipe at the party, trying to make sure that all the civilians and, him and Kate and Eleanor are all fine. But also, while that's going down, Yelena's coming down about to, shoot him, but she misses because Kate says, Clint, move, it's Yelena. And that was cool to see that all go down and her reach the bottom. And then next thing you know, all these tracksuits come in. We see this cool fight sequence between, Clint and the tracksuits in this one hallway. But then he sees them coming out of the elevator, and then he jumps out. And that was really cool to see. But when he jumped out, he jumped in to, he ended up, I guess, the harness that was shot up there, I guess that Yelena was using, and then Kate used it. And then when Kate went down, Clint tries using the same one, but I guess it gets undone, and he ends up going into the big Christmas tree in New York, which was funny, by the ice skating rink. To see all that go down was very funny, and him seeing the owl in the tree, and just the funny comedic elements to this. And, Kate's like, I can get you down, and he's like, don't do it, please don't do it, and she ends up shooting an acid arrow on the tree, and makes the tree timber, and she's like, I'm gonna make the tree go timber, and I was like, oh, damn, and he ends up landing on the ice, and the biggest, coolest fight went out on the ice with all the tracksuits, and, like, them being coordinated with one another, working together as a team, Kate and Clint, and that was just cool to see that go down. To see her, going under, shooting the arrow, him swinging, and all the cool moves they were doing, them using all the different arrows, him giving her the trick arrow, she was sending them off. That was just so cool to see that go down, to see their teamwork and their communication, and, it's all of this has been leading up, like them, Clint trusting her, and, him him realizing that, Kate was right about him being a hero, and this, and that, and him needing, branding, and we see them wearing their new costumes, and just seeing that everything worked together, and them, Clint trusting Kate, and Kate, finally, getting pretty much getting the you are an Avenger moment, essentially, like, you're my partner and everything. So seeing that all go down was very cool. But the part that was, the coolest was when, when we see Clint fighting Yelena, and I'm waiting for that moment where, Clint tells Yelena this is, what actually happened to Natasha, because Yelena's like, at least tell me one thing, what happened to my sister? And, of course, Clint's like, you would never believe me, meaning that she probably wouldn't believe that an alien said you have to jump off this ledge, you know what I mean? Or, and to get the Soul Stone, and that's pretty much what brings people back to life, or one of the things that brings people back to life. Like, she probably wouldn't believe it, that a floating Red Skull would said, oh, a life, for the Soul Stone, this, and that, someone you love, and all that crap. Like, she would never probably believe it, and he even knew she probably wouldn't believe it. So he's like, she sacrificed herself to save everyone, and he's like, she's like, you're lying, this, and that, and a big fight breaks out, of course. But while she's doing that, we see Eleanor going to the car, and here I am thinking right away, oh no, Eleanor's going to the car. I see in the trailers, a big figure hovering over the car. It's going to be Fisk. Fisk is there, and pretty much tries to, tries to kill her, essentially. And next thing you know, Kate's there saying, stay away from my mother. And a big fight breaks out because, at this point, Kate's trying to shoot arrow. It didn't work in him. She tries to shoot again. It's still not, hurting him. And then, of course, he tries fighting her. And he ends up throwing her inside this, toy building. And that's when this cool fight breaks out between them. Because at this point, he's about to go after Kate. But, Eleanor, I guess when, she is, all the focus is on, Fisk has all the focus on Kate instead of Eleanor. Eleanor somehow must have driven around the block and slammed him through this toy store, because I was like, how'd you do that so fast? Because literally, it went from the focus being on you to the focus being on Kate, and then somehow you were able to get enough speed to send him into the toy store. I was like, oh my god. When he got hit, mind you, I thought he was dead. I was like, there's no way the dude's alive. I mean, but they clearly have amped him up to his comic book accuracy on his strength, because he ripped off a door. He like threw someone down really hard on the car. Like, his strength is like doubled a ton since Netflix Daredevil, because you need to do that once you bring, you know what I mean? Like, once you're going up against major powered people in this show, or even in, like, you know, in the universe of the MCU, you have to power him up a bit and make him like his comic book accurate counterpart, to make him, you know, stronger and, you know, more fitting, so he eventually could fight Spider-Man, could fight, you know, all these other characters. So it makes sense that they're really trying to level him up to his comic book counterpart. So right away, I'm like, okay, maybe that, I was like, that should have killed you, dude, because the way that Eleanor hit him through, like, you know, fist through that, through the toy store window, he should have died. And I was like, okay, and then at this point, you know, Eleanor's knocked out. Kate goes in because, Fisk is trying to get back to Eleanor. But, of course, you know, I love when Kate, like, webs it off with these electric, you know, strings that are electric, and it kind of makes a web. I thought that was very cool, saying, you know, you're in a cage match with me, dude. You're not going to my mom. You're going to fight me. Let's go. And I loved that fight that went down. Of course, you know, Fisk was, you know, smashing her on the ground, threw her into this toy chest, and a whole bunch of crap was going around. He grabbed her quiver, broke her trick arrows. They were on the ground, and here I'm thinking you could still use the tips of them. Is that what she's gonna do? And she gets to the point where she gets one of his cufflinks, flicks it like the coin, and hits the trick arrows on the ground, and it makes this big explosion. I kid you not, man was like bouncing around the room like a pinball. It was the funniest thing in the world. And here I am thinking, he's dead. Like, man is dead. There's no way he's getting up. And mind you, we're gonna come back to of course, Elena and Clint, and they're having a moment where he's trying to explain to her, saying, I didn't kill, Natasha. She sacrificed herself. And the thing that makes Yelena stop hitting him is the whistle. And of course, in my head, thinking, oh my god, who's whistling? Is it Natasha? Somehow she alive? Is this the big holy shit moment? What's gonna happen? But it was actually Clint. Clint Natasha told Clint about their whistle, and that's how she realized that Clint would never kill Natasha. And Clint, and Clint told her, saying, we just have to deal with the fact that she's never coming back. And and she's like, it's sad because we saw, Yelena say, I love her, and that's when of course, Clint's like, I loved her too, and it was really sad to see that happen, and her pretty much come terms with the fact of, my sister's not coming back. Clint didn't kill my sister. And I'm curious to know, that kind of leaves an open-ending situation, or will we see, Yelena try to go after, Valentina, Val. So that's why I'm interested to see if because I was hoping there would be like an end credit or something that was going to go into what Yelena was going to be doing going forward, because it kind of left it to the point where we don't know what's happening with Yelena. She kind of just ups and leaves after not killing Clint, because she helps Clint off the ice and pretty much just walks away. And he says, of course, I'm sorry. And that was pretty much it. And the fact of, when we see, of course, Fisk on the ground, he ends up hobbling away, and right when the police show up, and that was really annoying to see him get away. But we end up seeing, of course, Kate's mother, Eleanor, ends up getting put away in jail, because I guess Kate gave to one of the LARPers that was a cop, gave her the footage. I'm assuming that's how, and then they gave it to the police, so they would arrest, of course, Eleanor for killing Armand. So that's what Clint was saying earlier in the episode, saying, sometimes, you have to make the hard decisions, meaning it was very hard. She had to make the hard decision to be like, okay, either I could not tell the police that my mother killed Armand, and we could just go off somewhere, and she could just get away with murder, or and get away with all the crimes she's done, whether she was being forced to do it or not, or make the right decision where it's, she killed somebody, she needs to be put away in jail. And that's exactly the decision Kate makes. And that was a big decision that pretty much sets her to the point of, she's now a hero. She's making the hard decisions. She is now a hero. She is now an Avenger. And that's going to be cool to see her going forward in the MCU, and when she'll see Yelena next. I'm thinking in the Young Avengers. I'm thinking that's exactly what kind of hint that they did at the end of this series, what they're kind of hinting towards. But going with what happened with Maya, in this episode, Echo, she, from what we saw her in the last episode, she now knows, now Ronan, aka Clint, tells Maya that the big man, your boss, sent me after your father, you know what I mean? Because he wanted your father dead. And that's pretty much what, she, of course, confronts Kazi, saying, you were his right-hand man. Why weren't you there the night of his death at the meeting? Why weren't you there? And he's like, I don't know. And now she knows that something is up. She goes and sees Fisk and pretty much says, I want some time off. I'm sorry for my outbursts of, me not being, like a ghost, me being, people noticing me. I'm sorry, I want to take some time off. You know what I mean? I love you and all that stuff. And pretty much she's trying to like get them off the scent of they're kind of realizing that Ronan, told her about the, that how like, Fisk wanted her father dead. And pretty much, he's putting that all together. I'm like, oh my God, Fisk knows. Kazi knows that, she knows. And I love when, she leaves. And that's when Kazi said, the Ronin is running around New York, and he turned, Maya against me. And I love when he says, we need to send them, this is my city. And I was like, that's so cool. I love that because that's such Kingpin, when he says it's my city. And that's going to be so cool to see, Matt Murdock, fight him once again. At being a lawyer, but also being Daredevil, that's going to be so sick to see that happen. I think that's going to happen in the Echo series. As we know, Charlie Cox is rumored to be in the Echo series, and it's rumored that he will get his Daredevil costume in, that series as well. And I'm thinking by the time we left this is that we get a moment where, Maya does show up in the mix of all the battle going on between the tracksuits and Kazi trying to take out Clint and Kate and trying to take out Eleanor. And that's when, of course, at the right time, Maya comes there and pretty much tries to stop and confront Kazi, saying, I know what Fisk did, but I want us to leave. I don't want us to be a part of this anymore. I want to leave it behind me and what happened and what you did. And because I know that you weren't the one that did anything, so let's just go and let's leave. And he's like, this is my life. I'm not leaving. This and that. You should have ran when you got the chance. And he tries fighting, Maya. And here I am thinking, you're gonna lose, dude. You lost against Clint. You lost. You're not a good fighter. You're gonna lose against, of course, Maya. You're gonna lose. And essentially, he gets stabbed and he dies. And that was a sad moment because that's not what she wanted to do, but he would have tried killing her, and he would have stayed there, and, it just had to end one way, because it wasn't going to end the other way of him just running away with her, because that was just not the case. He said, this is my life, I'm doing this, you should have left, and pretty much he tried killing her, and, he ended up dying. At that point, she wants to get revenge. We see Fisk hobbling away, and I'm like, how are you still alive, dude? You got hit by a car, and you got blown up. How are you still alive, my guy? He was clearly hurt. He was wobbling, he was hobbling, he was beat up bad by Kate. And that was impressive because even when, Clint, ends up talking to Kate and, they're just sitting there and he ends up saying, no one's been able to walk away from a fight with Fisk. You're like, that's impressive what you did. And that was really cool to, again, see him give, Kate some respect on the fact that, Kate's not a kid anymore. Kate has grown into the person she is meant to be, and I love that what the story was leading up to her becoming a hero and then becoming a team, and that was literally what the story was about, and I loved it. But to get to the moment where again Fisk is trying to get away, and next thing we see Maya there, and of course he's like, oh, I'm happy you're okay. Oh, I love you. Oh, it's me and you now. This and that. And when we see the moment where she picks up the gun, I'm like, oh, he's dead. He is so dead. Oh my God, what's going to happen? And then I love how the shot goes up and he's still trying to say something. And then we hear a shot and we hear a loud, smack on the ground. Meaning that I think he's dead, but I don't think he is dead because what is she going to do in her series? That's the question. I don't think he's dead. Because of the fact of, that's why I was so shocked when it happened. I thought when he got hit by the car, he was dead right away. But then when he wasn't dead from that and he got blown up, I was like, okay, I'm like, you're probably dead right now. I was like, nah, maybe not. I was like, no, they wouldn't bring him in just to kill him. They wouldn't bring in Vincent D'Onofrio's Kingpin and have him just die off like that. I'm like, he is not dead. And I'm like, her series might pick up. She has moved on with her life. She might have and it might maybe a span of a week, maybe a month. And then she finds out Fisk is still alive. And then maybe she'll want to go after him. And then that will make it where, she ends up running into Matt somehow or Daredevil, and Daredevil convinces her not to kill and sets her on a better path. I don't know what's going to really happen. I'm thinking that's what the story's going to be about, because a person that seeks out revenge, and Matt Murdock has been there when he wants to get revenge for certain things, and, and he lets the devil take over occasionally, Matt, with, him letting the devil out of him being Daredevil, and him getting carried away. I think it's going to be a story where it's like she finds out he's alive, and maybe she's moved on, and she's trying to hunt him down, and he's trying to teach her revenge is not the answer. You're going down the path he wants you to go down. You don't want to become this. Your father wanted you to become a person like this. Don't do this. I feel like that's what the series will be about, because but I'm just so shocked if that's it for him. I don't think that's the end of Vincent D'Onofrio's Kingpin. But for instance, when she was going up, I thought, and they cut away, I thought she shot him in the head, honest to God. I thought literally you shot him in the head, girl. I told Bethany, I'm like, I think them cutting away and her raising her arm up is them kind of simplifying the fact of she shot him in the head. That's at least what I kind of grasp it. But maybe she just shot him in the chest, and that would make more sense, because if she shot him in the head, he wouldn't be alive. So she had to have shot him in the chest. And, as we all know, he had something on underneath, hence why he was taking the shots from Kate's bow, arrows. So I'm assuming in her mind, she thought that one shot would kill him, and maybe it stunned him at first, maybe it wounded him, but he is still alive, I feel like, when the Echo series starts back up. But guys, it is so crazy the way they ended it, and also, us getting information on the Watch. We end up finding out where, when actually we see Clint, it's Christmas Day, and Clint's actually going home for Christmas. And I thought to myself, okay, what's going to happen to Kate? Kate's going to be there with him, because Kate has no one now. You know what I mean? Like, she only had her mother, and her mother's now in jail. Like, she's going to be there to have Christmas with, Clint's family. And that's essentially what happened, because he says, when he's grabbing all the presents, he says, "Are you coming?" And of course, it's Kate, and of course, what is it? The pizza dog. So that was, that was really cool. The one-eyed pizza dog. So that was really cool to see, them have, Kate, him inviting Kate, and pretty much, and inviting Kate into his family. That was really cool, because now Clint thinks of her as family, and I'm assuming now Kate's going to be living with the Bartons, which is very interesting, to have that go down, because they even say when, they go outside, and then of course he says, you took on Fisk, no one's able to walk away from that, and this and that. She's like, I've come up with a name. How about Lady Hawk, and this and that. She's mentioning different names and stuff. And he's like, I have a good idea. Meaning, and we see just like the pretty much the training thing that Lila was using and in Endgame, in the beginning of Endgame, and then she does when she's learning how to use a bow and arrow. We see that same, training, I forget what it's called, like the one bullseye. We see that. And it's kind of foreshadowing the fact I think they're going to be they're going to start up building the Young Avengers. I feel, because in the comic books, they are the ones that build up the Young Avengers. They're the ones that start it. So I'm thinking, is that what they're kind of hinting towards? Like, they're going to start, making a team. That would be awesome if that's what they're kind of hinting towards. Because again, people thought this was going to be it for Clint, and he was just going to retire after this, and this would be it. But I don't think that's the case. I think Jeremy Renner is going to be in future things, maybe making future cameos or end credit, future cameos, building up the team for the Young Avengers. I feel like he's going to be doing that with Kate. And there's just so much we have to know. Like, where's Kate and Clint going to go? I'm thinking the Young Avengers. That's what they're kind of hinting towards at the end. Where is Yelena going to go? I'm thinking they're going to recruit her on their quest to build the new Avengers, the Young Avengers. I think that also we end up getting an explanation on whose watch it was. It was actually, Clint's wife's watch, and she was an ex-SHIELD agent. So that was one of my theories, and one of everybody's theories. It was either a Black Widow, an ex-Black Widow, or an agent of SHIELD. So that was cool to see her actually being a SHIELD agent. Hence that's how she met Clint, and I thought that was cool. I thought that was a very poetic love that they had, and that they have, is that they met in SHIELD, and I mean, even though everything that happened with SHIELD and her retiring and everything, it's like they're still together, they're still married, and throughout all the the stuff that they've been through with everything going on, their love is always so strong, and they stay together. And I think that's just so awesome that they have that bond, her and Clint. I just think that's really sick. So that was really cool to see. I want a little bit more. I want more with that, because it'd be cool to see more. Maybe her getting out of being retired to do something that would be sick. I just think it's cool that she was an ex-SHIELD agent, and to see that watch, that was cool to see the watch, and it was on the back of it, so that was just really cool to see that happen, and finally us get an explanation of whose watch that is, and I just think that was cool. Also, with, with Jack Duquesne, he's actually a good guy, which shocked me. I mean, but it didn't shock me at the same time, because the way he was acting, I was like, you seem like a good dude, but yet you are hiding the fact that you're an expert with a sword, but you're not fooling anybody, meaning you're not fooling Kate. And it makes me wonder, did Eleanor know that he was actually what Kate was trying to say he was, on the fact that he was good with swords, and you know what I mean? I'm thinking he wasn't in with all the crime. That was just something Eleanor put in place to make it say, oh, Jack is the person, not me, saying he was the one doing all the books and stuff, but it was actually not Jack, it was Eleanor that was doing all the books and stuff, but made it seem like, framing Jack if that information would ever get out. And she framed him the point of that, he did get sent, he did get arrested, but he was actually, then he got out of being arrested, and he was actually at the Bishop Christmas party. And it was funny because he said, now's my time, Jack, now's your time. And it was funny because he was so funny when he's out, he's just using his sword, he's saying, on guard, and he's like having a fun time. And I love the moment when, all the LARPers there, and they're being like they're doing the security. They end up getting in their costumes so people take them seriously to get everybody out of the building, because no one was taking them seriously before when they were just dressed as pretty much helpers and stuff, as for parties and stuff, and I mean, like being a server and things like that. So no one took them seriously until they got on their costumes. And here I'm thinking that makes sense, because you'd in the world where people wear costumes saving people, you're gonna take it. You're gonna listen to people that are wearing the costumes. So I thought that was cool and funny. But to just see all that go down, and I love when Kate's like, I love when Grills and all them are all saying, we can't find your mom. And he's like, okay, well then just get Jack out of here. He's having too much fun. Or you just probably get Jack out of there. And here I am thinking he's having way too much fun, saying on guard, having a fun time. And I love when Kate has the moment with Jack saying, I'm sorry for me thinking you were bad and stuff. He's like, oh, you're all good. And he's like, I'm just trying to find your mother. And he's like, same. And she's like, same. And I just love the communication that they had. And I hope to see Jack come back down the line, because he's funny and he's cool. And when the one girl that's that made a big deal out of Clint using her bag, because it was embroidered by her, her wife. I thought that was cool, or her girlfriend. I forget what it was, but she actually is the one that's telling him, saying, "Oh, you should join. Have you ever thought about doing LARPing?" And he's like, "Oh, it sounds something." I love that. I love how they do the funny moments with Jack, and I love the funny moments he had. I love finding out that he actually wasn't bad. He was actually a good dude, and I'm excited to see where they're gonna go with that in the future, with Jack and stuff. So there's just a lot of what's gonna happen going forward. I feel like we're building towards the Young Avengers. I feel like we're building up to also the Echo series. I feel like that's what this series was. It was the breaking point of, these are the two people that are going to be starting the Young Avengers, and they're going to start recruiting people. And I'm excited to see when are they going to start doing it? When are they going to start recruiting people? I don't know. Again, we don't have any more Marvel content until next year, guys, which is insane. That I can't believe this series went so fast. It's insane to me that literally this was episode 6 and the series went so fast. I feel like it went too quickly, but I feel like they executed everything perfectly, on the point of, I'm excited to see I'm excited to see Kate and Yelena see each other again. I'm excited to see where Kate and Clint go in the future. I'm excited to see where Jack ends up making the next appearance again. I'm excited to see if any of the LARPers will end up being, actually, like, a part of a team, or maybe on some sort of a part of the Young Avengers somehow? Will they be like someone that, you know, they can trust if they need any help doing recon or doing stuff? Like, that's the smaller things I'm wondering. Will these LARPers come back at some point in some sort of way to help them? Like that, they could do some sort of helping for the Young Avengers. I don't know. As maybe possible recruits for, like, you know, their, like, to do their to do like the recon, and to do like the or at least do like the you know, the information stuff. You know what I mean? Like, it's just so much cool, like, you know, possibilities of where all these characters could go in the future. And I'm just excited because also I feel like that's not a coincidence that, again, they did the story, of course, with the watch and it being actually, you know, Clint's wife's watch. You know what I mean? So that's just, yeah, I'm curious. I'm curious to know where that could go. Why they do that. I'm curious to know. So, but it makes sense why they would do it, because it was so close to home, and it makes sense for the story if they don't want to go anywhere else with that. Except now that we know how she's able to, you know, speak different languages is because she was an ex-SHIELD agent, how she knows so much about Natasha and everything, and it's really cool. I wouldn't mind like a spin-off series to see how they met or something. That would be cool. I'm just so happy, guys. It was a great series. Again, I would probably I'm gonna put the series on the top. I would do this. I would put Loki. I would do Falcon and Winter Soldier, and then I would do WandaVision. And then I would do What If. What If was good, but again, I would put that at the bottom because it was good, but I liked a lot of these more, the live action shows. I'm super excited to see where all this is going to be going later in the MCU going forward. I'm also super excited, again, that we're going to be getting Multiverse of Madness, you know, literally next year. And we won't have any Marvel content until next year in May, which is actually, the Multiverse of Madness comes out the month of my birthday, which I'm super excited about because originally it was going to be coming out, and I think in January, but then they moved it to May. So I'm really happy about that because it's on my birthday month and I don't mind it. So I'm just super stoked. I'm excited. I want to know down in the comments below what you guys thought of this finale of Hawkeye. Would you guys think all this is leading up towards? Let me know in the comments below what was your favorite moment of today's episode. Let me know in general, like, what was your favorite episode. Let me know what's your favorite Disney Plus series and how would you rank them. But yeah, guys, this was just a fun series, and I loved it. I thought it was a great series, and they smashed it. Of course, you know, Haley Steinfeld did an amazing job. Jeremy Renner did an amazing job. Florence Pugh did an amazing job. Everybody a part of this show did a freaking phenomenal job, and I just can't wait to see where they go going forward in the MCU, where they go. But guys, that was the video. Again, if you're new to the channel, subscribe to the channel, put in those notifications, like this video. I would love to have you guys here, a part of this family on this channel. We're all about spreading love, positivity, and motivation. Literally, we're almost to 500 subs. So again, I would love it if you guys subscribe to the channel, support this channel. I would really, really appreciate it. But guys, that was the video. I hope everybody has a great day, a safe day. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.